Previously, I ranked the different ship sets, and now I'm gonna go into the deep end and go for the portraits. I had actually been planning this video before the ship set video, but I didn't really want to do that as my first tier list video, so I did that other one instead. So I'm going to be ranking all of the different species portraits in the game. There's 293 of them as making this video, and yes, I'm including the 2 new ones that literally just came out as I'm recording this. I managed to get lucky and squeeze them in there. That would have been awkward if they had come out just a little after making this video. This is going to be a pretty long one, so I'm going to try and be as quick and concise as possible. If I don't have a strong opinion on one of the portraits, I'm just going to rank it. To keep this video somewhat coherent, I have a couple of different metrics that I'm going to be ranking this by. I'm not going to be looking at gameplay at all, just the visuals. The most important aspect that I'm looking at is basically how much it contributes to inspiring, interesting, creative ideas, enabling the sandbox to be able to create a wide variety of different kind of sci-fi worlds. Then there's the actual design of the portrait, like how clear is it? Can I understand what I'm looking at? Then there's also the flexibility, like how many empires could I see me using this portrait on? How often do I use it? Like for example with humans, there's a wide variety of different people that can act in a whole bunch of different ways. Some of these portraits are a lot like that, where I could imagine them having that rich diversity, and some of the other ones are not quite as flexible. And then finally, there's also the art style and how visually appealing it is. The order of these portraits is a little bit messed up, but I can't really be bothered to change it now, so we're just gonna go ahead and get started. So to start out with, we have the human portraits, these 3 right here. There's the old classic humans, the newer version of the humans, and then the cybernetic humans. I end up playing human empires quite a lot. I just really enjoy it, definitely from that like flexibility perspective that I was talking about. They're also just very relatable. I typically like, humans in an alien world. Playing as aliens are a little bit harder to like relate with. From a fantasy fulfillment perspective, of course, having humans in the game is absolutely vital. It would be insane not to include some kind of human portrait. And from a flexibility standpoint, like I said, humans are probably the most flexible portrait of any of them in the game. So really for this one, I'm just looking at design and art style. And I would say that this human portrait has a far better art style. It's more polished, better rendering, higher resolution, that kind of stuff. But this old classic portrait has a much better design. And to prove that, let me cycle through the different phenotypes for this one. The face shape doesn't change at all. The nose structure and all of that is identical between all of these. It's just like some skin tone changes. They have different hairstyles and stuff, but they all look kind of the same. The classic one actually had way more variety in how the faces actually look. Like if you look at the nose, there's quite a few different nose shapes. There's quite a few different eye shapes. So I think you get a far wider variety of different types of people with the original portrait. This new one feels too like magazine model looking thing. You're trying to capture all of humanity and yet not any bone structure changes at all. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and put the classic humans in S tier. And I'll put the new humans in D tier. Let's talk about the cybernetic humans next. They have a lot less variety as well, kind of like before. But the big thing that they have is this evolution stage that allows them to turn into cyborgs. That's very cool. I like this quite a lot. If you're going for a cybernetic human playthrough, this is great. I really like it. It looks good. I would overall say that this is A tier. This one's another cybernetic portrait, which is very cool. I like the poses of these. It's got good personality to it. Overall, very good portrait. I'm going to go ahead and put it in A tier. This one I have no strong feelings about. C tier. Another one that I don't really have much to say about. You can also go ahead and go to C tier. I like this a little bit more than the previous 2. Like there's not a nose and there's a more distinct head shape. I'm going to put it in B tier. Then we have the elves. These ones have some pretty wacky hairstyles mixed in that look pretty silly to me. There's also nothing really unique going on here. They're just very humanoid. There's no phenotypes either, unlike the other human portraits. Like, I think if they went more like the Elder Scrolls and had like high elves that have like a very yellowish skin tone or dark elves or something like that, I think this would be better. For that, it's gonna go in D tier. This one's got the interesting horns, kind of looks like a tiefling or devil type thing. It's pretty cool. This one will go in B tier. Then we've got this weird kind of halfling type species. Similar to the elves, they lack a lot of customization. They just have the one phenotype, which is kind of disappointing. Even just a simple color difference would be nice. I don't think that would be too much to ask. I don't know what's going on with their teeth, but it's very creepy looking. I would put this in D tier. This is another one of those, don't have much thoughts on it. C tier. This one's pretty interesting. I like that it doesn't have any eyes. That's pretty cool. Despite not actually officially being a psionic portrait, I do feel like it fits in very well with those. Very enigmatic and mysterious. Overall, I'm putting this in B tier. This one's pretty cool. I like the expression, very grumpy looking. B tier. I'm surprised that this one is humanoid and not reptilian because it looks very snake-like. I think this one is really cool. It's going to go in A tier. I don't have much thoughts on this one. The loop-shaped headpiece is kind of cool. It'll go in B tier. Then there's the dwarf portrait. Much like the other fantasy ones, it lacks any phenotype or color variants. I think it's cool that they give the female portraits beards as well. Much like the different fantasy portraits, this is not really my kind of thing. But for what it is, I think it's done decently well. I'm going to put it in C tier. I actually quite like the orc portraits. They actually have different color variations, unlike the other kind of fantasy-inspired ones, which is great. They're different enough from humans that they actually feel like they could be an alien species. So this is kind of what I wanted out of the other fantasy ones, where it definitely feels orc, but it totally fits into the sci-fi setting in spite of that. It's not my favorite by any means, but it's very solid, going in B tier. Then we have a Cyclops portrait. This one's pretty cool. I'll go ahead and put it in B tier. This is another one I don't have any strong feelings about. This one will go in C. This one's just okay. Also C tier. I like this one. This one's very cool, like that it has no obvious mouth and the 3 eyes. This is one that can evolve into a synthetic portrait as well. For these portraits that can both be organic or machine, I'm going to count them as 2 separate portraits. So for now, I'm just looking at the biological aspect of this portrait, not the machine version. Either way, this one's going in A tier. Very cool. Then we have this portrait. This is another one that can evolve into a machine. I don't particularly like this one, kind of from an art style standpoint. It's kind of hard to understand the shape of the face. There's a lot of high contrast in here. Like from a distance, for example, it's really hard to see the mouth, so the expression isn't very clear. I just don't like this one. This one's going in F tier. Then we have this one. Oh boy, I don't like this one at all. It used to be worse, when, at least in the dev diary. I guess that was a work in progress. They had done different colors initially, and they looked like gummy bears. This little Robin Hood hat with the feathers sticking off of it just looks so silly, and like the super skin tight outfits. This one's going to be another F tier. So that's all the humanoid portraits. I'm going to count the psionic portraits as their own category, even though they are showing up in the humanoids. Let's go ahead and move on to the machine portraits. And the first one in the list is this one, which we saw briefly a moment ago, and much like that other one, oh my gosh, I really love this machine portrait. It's so cool. I'm not sure how to describe why I think it's cool. I just like the shapes. Maybe like a little bit retro in there. Maybe that's what I like about it. This one is S tier. So then we have this robot portrait. This neck is weirdly fat for kind of a small looking head, I think. I just don't like the shape of it. This one's going in F tier. Then there's this portrait. I like this little cute pet thing that it's holding. I also like the shape of the head. Overall, quite good. I'm going to put it in B tier. Then we have the machine version of that other portrait that I talked about, and I like this machine version a lot better than the organic version. The kind of smooth surface of the face fixes quite a few of the problems that I had with the other one where the face wasn't very clear. This one just doesn't have a face. That's the solution. This one's also going to go in B tier. Then there's this portrait. I like the crossed arms, and it also has this extra set of arms down here. The robes are pretty cool as well. It feels very unique to have something that looks like this on a machine portrait. It's also gonna go in B tier. This one looks like a mosquito. F. Moving on. This one's quite cool. I particularly like the wings. It feels very agile and lethal. I'm gonna put it in A tier. For some reason, this one always gives me vibes of like a gardener. Maybe it's something to do with these sharp little claws or whatever. Maybe also like fine-tuned machinery work in a factory. And I also really like how many eyes it has. This one's going in S tier. I don't really have many thoughts on this one. It's very generic. It's going in C tier. This one's pretty cool. It feels very plant-like almost. This one's going in A tier. Then there's this one. I wouldn't say I'm a particularly big fan of the color options, but the shape of it is very cool. This one will be B. I like how this one almost seems kind of magical with this like glowing orb thing. This kind of collar shape coming out of it also makes it feel very regal. Not really in design, but in kind of style. It makes me think of like the little Forerunner monitors. It just seems generally very high tech. It's a really interesting one. I'm going to put it in A tier. Then there's this one. I really like how it's held up by cables. It's a little bit crab-like almost. I'm also putting this in B tier. This one feels very old and industrial. It almost kind of looks more like a mech suit than an actual robot. That makes me think of like, what if it's an empire where it genuinely was a mech suit and you have all these like skeletons left inside of the original creators still stuck inside the mech suit, but the mech AI has taken over and is now completely autonomous. That's like a really kind of creepy idea. That's very cool. I'm putting this one in A tier. Then there's the psionic robot. I'm just realizing now looking at it that actually these three things here are its eyes. I was kind of imagining this looked like a spacesuit helmet. I don't really like it. It's going in D tier. This one's got a really cool shape to it, and it's all very glitchy and buggy, which is kind of cool. There's actually quite a lot of variety between these different options, like quite a bit of it changes. This one's solid, going in B tier. This one's interesting. It feels very like rubbery. It doesn't seem quite as much like a metal, though it does have these evolution stages that give it some more of this metallic plating on it. It's got a very interesting kind of spider legs and then this weird curve to its back and neck or whatever. It's really weird, but in some ways I kind of like it. I almost imagine it as being quite short and small and kind of skittering around, little engineer robot type thing. This one is going in B tier. Then there's this one, Rick the Cube, which was added in as an April Fool's joke. I actually did a full playthrough on this one called Cube Inc. Basically an obsessional directive machine empire obsessed with making cubes. It's fine, but it's a little bit hard to take it seriously, so I'm going to put it in C tier. Then we have the aquatic robot, and this one's really interesting because it doesn't even really look like a robot. It's got this very cosmic vibe to it, and then it's made with these like seashell type things. It just feels like a whole different form of technology. It's very cool. I feel like it would work amazingly for a fallen empire. I'm putting this in S tier. I like this robot portrait quite a lot. The disc-shaped head is very cool, and I like the moss growing all over it. It feels very ancient, like it's been dormant for a long time but just waking up. It fits in well with something like the Remnant's origin. I'm also putting this in S tier. Then there's this one. It's very basic. I don't have a lot of thoughts about it. I'm going to put it in C tier. Then there's this portrait. I don't have much to say about it, but it is quite cool. I'm going to put it in B tier. Next up is this one. It's neat that it has this little drone thing that flies around. The animation is a little bit odd. It kind of just disappears. Other than that, I don't really find it all that interesting. I'm going to put it in C tier. Next up is this robot, which feels very bug-like. It's fine. I'm also going to put it in C tier. And for our final machine portrait is this one. I find the head shape very interesting. This one's basically just a better version of this one. I'm going to put it in B tier. So then we can move on to the mammalian portraits, which is the biggest category in the game, starting with this one. This one's pretty decent. C tier. This one has some evolution stages where the blood drains out of the packets on its body or whatever those are. I kind of feel like it should be reversed, where the more evolved it is, the more the packets fill up and it starts drained and then it gets full. I'll put this in C tier. This one's a cybernetic portrait and I like the pose that it has. Though, I'm not really a big fan of the portraits that are basically just a humanoid version of some animal from Earth, basically. I like things that actually feel more alien, like they've truly evolved to exist on a completely other world. So for example, this one just kind of comes off to me like it's a cat person. I'm going to put this one in B tier. This one has a similar problem to this portrait, where the face is a little bit hard to interpret. Though I don't feel like it's quite as bad as that one. It's also another cybernetic portrait. I'm going to put it in D tier. I think this one's pretty cool. I particularly like this clothing option that has like the little backpack. It's another cybernetic portrait. I do think it doesn't really seem like a mammalian portrait though. It seems like it'd be more reptilian or something. So I'm a little bit surprised it's in this category. Regardless, I'm going to put it in A tier. I like the variety of fur colors on this one, but otherwise it's just fine. B tier. Here's another cybernetic portrait. With the way that its shoulders go up here, it looks like it doesn't even really have a neck, which is kind of funny. C tier. Here we have another cybernetic cat looking thing. Though I think I like this one a little bit more than the other one. It's got more of this skin type texture rather than just fur. And the colors are really interesting. A tier. This one feels really unique. It almost kind of reminds me of like an anteater. Also A tier. I like this one a lot. It's got a very interesting contemplative pose. I'm going to put this in S tier. And then there's this thing. It is so ugly. It's awful. It's got the giant bulbous, almost frog-like neck thing, and I can kind of see the vision there. From a fantasy fulfillment, having a couple of ugly portraits to have those, weird looking aliens is useful. I shouldn't just judge them by how cool I think they are. Having some of those weird species can complement the game to make more diverse and interesting galaxies. So as much as I'm tempted to put it in F tier, I'm going to put it in D tier. This one's very jiggly and energetic. Most of the portraits move pretty slowly, so that's very interesting. But I'm not really that much of a fan of the design. C tier. Not much to say about this one. C tier as well. This one's fun. It kind of reminds me of that one character from Lilo and Stitch. I like that it chuckles. It seems kind of very jovial. This one's very good. A tier. Not much thoughts on this one. It's alright. C tier. I like this one a whole lot. It feels a bit similar to this one as well. It's got that very round shape to it. It's just got a fun expression as well. S tier. I feel like this one's basically just a better version of this one. B tier. This one's a bit goofy looking. Also B tier. Another cat portrait. I do feel like I can't disassociate from just thinking, oh, it's a lion. C tier. This is by far one of my favorite portraits in the game. I really like the shape of its head, this big nose, and the 6 eyes. I say 6 because I assume the other side has 3 as well. It's got a nice balance between familiarity, but also feeling quite alien. As a species, I feel like it's very flexible. I typically like using this for kind of slightly more aggressive militarist type empires. S tier. This one gives me very platypus vibes. I'm not really a big fan of this one. D tier. This one reads more avian than mammalian to me, but otherwise I do quite like it. It kind of reminds me a bit of the jackals from Halo. A tier. This is another of my favorite portraits in the entire game. Kind of reminds me a bit of an otter, but it still seems quite unique. It's just got this very friendly looking face. I just really like it. S tier. I like this one. It's very unique, particularly these kind of very triangular shapes coming off of it. I'm not sure what that, is that cartilage or
I mean, it clearly can move it around, so it's kind of got like muscles in there. I don't know, it's very fascinating to see these kind of shapes. A tier. This mole looking thing, it's got this really weird skin texture. It's very creepy looking. I know this was made before the Necroids portrait, but I would move this into Necroids. I don't really feel like this is mammalian. Overall, a good, very spooky portrait, B tier. This is one of those ones that it's basically just a humanoid boar. It's not really that interesting to me. D tier. Again, another portrait, it's just a horse. D tier as well. I think this one's just really cute. It's got the big eyes, and it's really interesting how it has the kind of mole snout, but it also feels really distinct, like these kind of tendrils coming out of its head. Its clothing options are really interesting. It's a portrait that could work well as kind of if you wanted a Skaven type empire, but it also feels quite flexible. A tier. This is a much better version of a kind of, in quotes, monkey portrait than this one in my mind. I think it's really cool how it has these wings and kind of the long neck but small head. A tier. This one's interesting. It's got these very bug-like mandibles, which is unique for something that's more mammalian. A tier. This is another, it's just a humanoid fox. D tier. I like the kind of snout and the shape of the head, though this line right here kind of makes me think of like, it looks like a strap for an eye patch, even though it isn't that. Is it like their head is like a scalp thing? I'm not really sure what that is. It looks really weird. I'll put it in B tier. I'm not really that big of a fan of it. D tier. This one feels very distinct, and it's got an interesting personality. It's kind of floating in a meditation stance, which is quite cool. So go in B tier. And that is all of the mammalian portraits. Let's move on to reptilian. I like this portrait a lot. It's the one that I used for the Doomsday playthrough that I did a long time ago. It's got a little bit of this kind of starfish vibe to it. S tier. It's interesting that this one actually has a hat. I don't think I've ever seen that before. Is that new, or just have I never noticed that before? Otherwise, it's pretty decent. B tier. This one's quite cool. Kind of got like a turtle shell looking thing. This one has biological evolution stages that give it more of this kind of armor. I like this one quite a lot. A tier. This is another really ugly looking one. It has evolution stages to have this second pair of eyes open up. I would say that this one is ugly in an interesting way compared to that other one that I had a problem with. You know why I think I don't like this one so much? It's the hair. It's not the weird frog thing. I think if it was hairless, I would have less problem, but this like pink hair coming off of it is just such a weird color contrast. This one has a similar, it's ugly, but it's ugly in a way that's like, yeah, it's a little gremlin thing that runs around and causes havoc. Like, it's ugly in a good way, not just ugly in like a clashing design kind of way. That's what I meant by that other one. So this will go in B tier. I like this one a lot. It's got a good personality. It seems kind of like, I don't know why, it just gives me bounty hunter vibes. And this is another cybernetic portrait, S tier. A cybernetic chameleon portrait. Yeah, I like this one, A tier. Another cybernetic reptilian portrait, B tier. This is a very iconic portrait because it's the one that the Preaky T event uses, which is quite an interesting event, particularly the first time you get it, with the shield world that you can crack and open up and unleash the fanatic purifier little lizard guys, which on the surface, these guys seem pretty cute, but they are little demons. I do like the little robes that they're wearing. That's fun. It's kind of like a kimono looking type thing. But beyond it being kind of a little bit funny, I don't know. I don't particularly like it a ton. It'll be C tier. This one's really interesting. Kind of like a little mini dragon with these wings. That's quite cool. I particularly like this color style. That's really neat. This will go in B tier. This is another one that I like a whole lot. It's just got such a fun expression with this absolutely giant mouth and the little eyes. This will go in A tier. This one reminds me of an anglerfish, though it doesn't actually have the lure thing sticking out. B tier. This one with its kind of long head reminds me a lot of this portrait. I think I like that other one more than this one generally. C tier. This portrait has good personality to it, but it is basically just humanoid tortoise. Something about it though, I just kind of like more than those other Earth animals. I'll put it in C tier. This one reminds me of the elites from Halo a bit. Overall, pretty cool. B tier. This one's another of my absolute favorites. I really like the shape of the head. I imagine this one being very wise, like kind of a mentor. I don't know, I just imagine this one like sipping a cup of tea or something like that. S tier. This one's pretty decent. B tier. Okay, this one bothers me. It's an asparagus. I can't see anything else other than that. D tier.
I like how intimidating this one looks.
A tier. I like this a lot as well. It reminds me a bit of the Krogan. I actually think I like the design of this more than the Krogan. This one's S tier. This one's great. It's got a very UFO alien vibe to it. It fills that good niche of, particularly if you're going to do like infiltrate primitives. I want to put this in A tier. This one reminds me a bit of a hammerhead shark. It's very interesting. A tier. Not much to say about this one. B tier. So let's move on to avian, and this one is basically just peacock. Meh.
Another one with biological evolution stages, getting all of these eyes all over it. I'm not really a big fan of the shape of its head. This one will go in C tier. I like this one quite a lot. It's quite simple, but it works really well. A tier. Another Cyclops portrait, but this one is a bird. I like this more than the other Cyclops portrait that there is. Put it in A tier as well. This one seems very devious and scheming. I will put it in A tier. It's fine. C tier. These portraits that have like a spacesuit type thing are kind of interesting, but it seems a little bit odd that, like, do they wear these spacesuits even on their own home planet all of the time? Because the portraits always display them wearing it. Like, it makes sense that, like, oh, say in the galactic community, you know, a certain species doesn't breathe the, you know, oxygen atmosphere, so different species have to have their own environment suits to interact, you know, on that interspecies level. Like, are they more like the Quarians, where they have a really compromised immune system and they just always wear this suit? Anyhow, that aside, it is quite cool. I like this one. A tier. I think this one's a bit derpy looking, and it also lacks customization. C tier. This one's interesting. I'll put it in C tier. This is another one of my absolute favorite portraits. S tier. This one's fine. I kind of feel a little bit meh about it. I'm going to put this in C tier. Okay, this one's a bit of a confusing one. At first glance, I would say this doesn't really look very avian to me. It seems more like it would fit in with like the arthropods. I always interpreted that as a nose and like the mouth is down here. And it's got this kind of like, this is the head, but I'm realizing actually that's the beak. And these are like not the mouth coming out. This is like weird neck antennas. I'm seeing this in a completely new light now. Previously, it looked like a cool necroid kind of skull-like thing, but that's a beak, not a nose. What? Oh, that makes it so much worse. It looks so weird. No, D tier. I like this one. Seems like this one's kind of a little bit on something, maybe a little bit higher, something like that. I don't know why. Just seems very zonked out. A tier. This is another one that I like a lot. Feels very similar to this one, just kind of a different style. S tier. This one's really weird. Like, I don't know what's going on with this mouth thing or whatever. D tier. I don't have anything to say about this one. C tier. This one feels almost more plant-like than avian. I guess these are meant to be feathers, but they actually look more like some kind of leaf or something. And the way that its face glows, and it doesn't have like clear eyes, but whatever these glowing things are is quite cool. Overall, I'm going to put this in B tier. This one's strange. It's like its whole face is a beak and its eyes are actually inset into the beak or whatever. C tier. This one's basically just a penguin. D tier. This one's a cybernetic portrait. B tier. This one's very similar to the last one, and this one is a synthetic portrait. I think I prefer the previous one more. C tier.
That concludes the avian portraits, and now we can move on to arthropod. And there is the biological version of the mosquito portrait that we looked at earlier, and I have the exact same feelings. It's actually even worse. Ew. Get this out of my face. Though to be fair, joking aside, this one actually is kind of interesting from a biological perspective. This could work well as like a devouring swarm hive mind type thing, and just you are the mosquito swarm. That's kind of fun. Though it's not really a portrait that I'd want to turn into a machine. So to be fair, I will remove this to C tier. Then there's this portrait. It's got a biological evolution stage that makes its kind of more bumpy skin, going in A tier. This one is similar to some of the other ones that I talked about, where it basically just feels like a species from Earth. But the reason I actually like this one a lot more than those other ones is that it's not humanoid. It genuinely is just a giant butterfly. It is quite cute. I think it would work well for a pacifist agrarian empire. Of course, if you want to do the silly meme of taking the cute portraits in the game and turning them into the most evil empire ever, that's a silly option as well. I typically like immersion, so I want to pick a portrait that matches with the vibes of the empire. This one will go in A tier. Then there's the shrimp portrait. Pretty derpy looking. I'll put this in C tier. Then there's this portrait, and I really like this one. It's really cool. I imagine kind of like wise trader empire. It's just got a fun, unique personality. It seems like, I don't know, I really feel like the cultural elements to it as well. A lot of these portraits are just the head changes and the clothing is the same between all the portraits. So I like some of these portraits that have not just this generic clothing, but they have more like unique clothing for that individual portrait. It makes them feel like they have a distinct identity, more so than just being a species. It's a culture as well. This one's going in S tier. Then there's this one, kind of a big beetle. There's actually an event you can get. I got this in the Cubing playthrough. Basically, Earth can be a tomb world, and there's a primitive species of giant beetles, and it uses this portrait, so that's quite fun. Again, like the butterfly one, this one actually isn't humanoid, so yes, it's an animal, but it's like a giant version of an animal, and that I like more than human body with a different head. This one's actually S tier for me. I like this one a lot. Not much to say. B tier. Okay, so this portrait, for the longest time, I thought that this whole thing was a big eyeball and that it was like one huge cyclops eye on the body, but looking at it more, this here is actually a mouth, and there's these little tiny dots that are an eye, and this is its whole face, not a singular eyeball. And once I realized that, I don't like this one. I don't like that I realized that. I guess it's kind of like a maggot or something like that. D tier. This one's really cool. I like it a lot. And I like the little tiny arms that are kind of like a little bit nervous or something. It almost seems a little cute. It also somewhat reminds me of the Charis from the Elder Scrolls. This one's going in A tier. Not much to say about this one. C tier. Then there's this kind of spider-like portrait. B tier. This one kind of reminds me of the chrysalids in XCOM, and those things absolutely suck. They're so terrifying to deal with, particularly if you've played the first XCOM game. That mission is one of my favorite missions in the entire game. It's so cool. If you're not familiar, basically chrysalids they have these really sharp claws that have poison, and then they, attack your soldiers with the poison, and if your soldiers die because of the poison, they turn into zombies. And there's this one mission in the game where the only enemy in the mission is the chrysalids, and you have to make your way, it's like through this whaling station or whatever, and get to this whale that's infested with them and like drop a nuke on them and then escape before it blows up. And the first time I played the mission, it was basically like my soldiers are being picked off one by one. We managed to plant the target designator, but we didn't get out alive. They managed to blow it up, but all of the soldiers died in the process. And it was this very cool, tense kind of suicide mission type thing. I liked it a lot. Anyhow, this reminds me of that, going in A tier. This one's all right. C tier. I like this one quite a bit. Seems pretty elegant. I'll put this in A tier. I really like this one. It's just got a really good shape to its head. This one's going in S tier. This one feels really unique. It
seems like it doesn't have any eyes, though. Is that an eye right there? I'm not really sure. Is that an eye or just like a crease? I actually think I would prefer it if it didn't have eyes and it's just this big mouth in the center of its face. That's kind of cool. Either way, I will put this in B tier. This one reminds me quite a bit of this portrait here, but it's basically what I thought that other portrait looked like. So it's basically just a better version of that one, going in C tier. Don't have much to say about this one, B tier. Every time I see this one, it makes me think of Randall from Monsters, Inc. Be even funnier if we had a purple version. This one will go in A tier. This one's okay, C tier. So then we've got the biological version of one of the machine portraits that we talked about. I like the machine version more than I like the biological version, but it's still pretty good. I'll put it in B tier. And again, another biological version of one of the machine portraits that we looked at. I have the same feelings about this one as I did the machine version, though I actually like the machine version more. I'm going to put this in D tier. Then this one, which is cybernetic. This one's just C tier. And that's it for this category. Let's move on to mollusculoid. This one has a biological evolution stage, adding armor to its very exposed kind of jello-like body, going in A tier. Then there's this portrait that has a bunch of starfish attached to it. I don't like this one at all. F tier. This one is so adorable. It's so cute. I just really like this one. A tier. Then there's the snail portrait. I find it funny that it has this little piece of wheat in its mouth. Though it is kind of like those other, it's basically just an animal portrait. For whatever reason, I don't like it as much as something like the butterfly. But it's okay, I'll put it in C tier. Then there's this portrait, which I just like a lot. This one's going in A tier. This one is very unique. A tier. This one looks really silly to me. I'll put it in C tier. This one's very creepy with its massive mouth with big sharp razors. Makes for a very good evil portrait. Put it in B tier. I like this one a whole lot. This one's going in S tier. This one's pretty interesting. I can't tell, are these does it have 4 arms or are these 2 extra heads? I think those are just arms actually. Still very neat. This will go in B tier. This one's kind of weird to me. I don't particularly like it a whole lot. D tier. This one somewhat has jellyfish vibes to it a little bit, but it feels very unique and distinct. For some reason, I kind of think this one seems like the Hanar. I imagine it being quite telepathic or psionic or something like that, but I really like this one. This one's going in S tier. And then there's this portrait, which I actually used in my very first Stellaris video, The Worst Empire Possible. And I chose this portrait specifically because I absolutely hate it, and I wanted to pick the worst possible portrait in the game. Why does it have like a human nose slapped onto the front of it? That's absolutely huge. I can't take this seriously at all. It's just so stupid looking. It's not ugly in like a little gremlin ugly way or weird monster ugly way. It's just ugly in a terrible design kind of way. F tier. Not much to say about this one. B tier. I'm not really sure how to interpret what's going on with its face. I'm gonna put it in C tier. This one's really cool. It's another Cyclops portrait. Very alien and mysterious. I'm gonna put it in A tier. Another decent one. This one's going in B tier. Then we have the biological version of this machine portrait that's holding the pet. I like the machine version a bit more than I like the biological version. The actual main body of it really isn't that interesting. The only thing that makes this one interesting is its pet. Though that's actually a funny idea, that the actual like intelligent species is the pet, and this one is like just the servant that carries it around. And it's more, this is the domesticated pet, and this is the actual alien species that's making all the technology and everything and making all the decisions. And then I could imagine when you evolve into the machine portraits, the actual species doesn't want to evolve into a machine. It's just outsourced its pet walking around carrying labor to robots. And then these guys are all out of a job now because they're replaced by machines. Oh, that's hilarious. I actually really like that a lot. I'll put it in B tier. That's fine. I guess it's right next to its other one. The thing is, I like portraits that have a creative hook to them. There's something to go off of to make those kind of ideas for empires, those really creative ideas. And this is one that has a good creative hook to it. So the pet thing is really valuable. It's something unique that makes me want to come up with cool ideas. And next we have the biological version of this portrait. You can go into B tier with your other portrait over here. This one kind of reminds me a bit of like Davy Jones from Pirates of the Caribbean. I don't know why. Just like this would fit in well with like space pirates. I'm going to go ahead and put this in A tier. Then there's this one, which is this horrible, terrifying, mutated thing. It also has biological evolution stages that make it grow these weird sacks of whatever that is. This kind of reminds me of like the Flood. It seems like this horrible body horror monster thing. Very good for like a devouring swarm hive mind with using biological ship sets and things like that. Super creepy. This one's going in S tier. This is another biological evolution portrait. This one will go in C tier. So that's all for molluscoid, and now we're on to fungoid, and starting with this one, which certainly has a peculiar shape to it. I'm putting this in F tier. This one's pretty cute, really interesting and unique. I like it quite a lot. This one will go in A tier. Then there is the cybernetic mushroom, which I also like quite a lot. This one's going in S tier. Then there's this portrait, which is another really creepy looking one. I feel like this also gives me devouring swarm vibes. It's decent, but I think other portraits kind of fill that role better. Like I like this one more, but it's still pretty good. I'll put it in B tier. This one's pretty weird. I'll put it in C tier. I really like this portrait. Don't have a whole lot to say, but it's going in S tier. This one's also really cool. I like how it's floating, but it's kind of like floating upside down. Like I imagine this sack is filled with like some kind of like helium style type thing. In a kind of weird sort of way, it reminds me of the engineers from Halo. Going in A tier. This one's kind of creepy looking. It's got this kind of almost skull-like type thing going on. C tier. This one is pretty good. B tier. Not much to say about this one other than that it's basically, in my eyes, a better version of this portrait. This one will go in B tier. Another one I don't have strong feelings about. This will go in C tier. This one's pretty cool. I like this kind of whatever thing is kind of growing up around its head. This one's going in A tier. I think the colors for this one, for the head shape, are a little too on the nose with like mushroom, kind of like this just looks like Mario power-up style mushroom. I don't know. I'd maybe change the colors a bit. Maybe go for an all white thing. Oh, if this top piece was switched out with just all white, I think I would like it more. But I do really like this kind of glowing spores that are coming out of it, like bioluminescence type thing going on. Going in B tier. I don't really like this one. F tier. This one's an interesting one. Whatever this weird thing that's growing all over it doesn't really seem like a part of it. It almost seems like a separate weird shadow monster that's growing up over this other thing. This one's going in C tier. Not much to say about this one. C tier as well. This is very neat, very mysterious kind of looking. I'll put this in A tier. So that's all of the fungoid portraits, and now moving on to plantoid with this one. Another portrait with the pet, and this one has a biological evolution. It's quite good, going in A tier. I like the kind of spores coming out of this one's face or flower head or whatever. I will put this in A tier. Next there's this one, which will go in C tier. I like this one a whole lot. It's fun how it like tucks its whole head away, and these weird like little bulbs of like, they almost look kind of like little drips of water or whatever, and then they glow. This one's very unique and cool. I like this one a whole lot. This one's going in S tier. I like the glowy bits. This will go in A tier. Then there's this one. I think it looks a bit silly. Its mouth shape or whatever is just kind of funny. I know it's not wearing a helmet, but this smooth surface kind of looks like it has a helmet on, but it's coming down way too low and covering over its eyes. Kind of like the soldier in Team Fortress 2 somewhat. I don't know. It's just very strange to me. I don't really like this one a whole lot. Going in D tier. I like this one a whole lot. This one's going in S tier. This one's okay. B tier. It's got a very strange looking face. And then these little tiny thin arms or whatever. I don't know. It just looks very silly to me. This one's going in D tier. This one's basically just like an onion. I don't want to play as an onion. D tier. Then there's this one. And it's going in C tier. I initially didn't like this one a whole lot, but a super long time ago, I got into a really intense war with an empire that had this particular portrait. And I remember really enjoying that playthrough. That was a lot of fun. That was back when I just first started playing the game. So there's maybe a little bit of nostalgia in there with this one. Makes me think of like Plants vs. Zombies somehow, even though there's not really a specific thing I'm thinking of, just the idea of like plants that are chomping you or whatever. I like this one. It's pretty good. I'm going to put it in A tier. And then there's this one, which doesn't really seem like a plant at first glance. I suppose it does kind of have some of that planty vibes. Either way, very cool. This one's going in A tier as well. Then this one, I will put it in B tier. Then there's the very Groot looking thing. I thought these things here were the eyes, like right there and there. But those are actually the nostrils and the eyes are here. And once I realized that, my opinion of this one went down quite a bit. I kind of liked seeing the shape of the face as being this kind of smaller thing with this big head, rather than the eyes being a little bit further back. I'm going to put it in B tier. Not much to say about this one. I will put it in B tier. Then there's this one, another portrait with a pet. Overall, very high quality, looks quite good. I'm going to put this in A tier. And then for our final plantoid portrait, there is this one, which will go in B tier. And now moving on to lithoid portraits, starting with this one. Something about the textures seem off. I don't really know what it is. It's just very mushy, muddy, low detail compared to the other ones. This one's F tier. Moving on to this lithoid portrait, which I like quite a lot. It feels kind of fantasy. It feels very ancient. I like the moss growing on it. This one will go in A tier. Then there's this one, which I also like a lot. This one's also going in A tier. This one's really weird looking to me. I don't really like the shape of its face a whole lot. And this one's going in D tier. Then there's this one. I'll put it in C tier. Like a lot of the lithoid portraits, they seem very ancient and magical. This one's pretty good. I'll put it in A tier. Another really good one. This one reminds me of the Demogorgon with the way that its face is shaped. Another A tier. Then there's this one. It's all right. I'll put it in B tier. Then there's this very crab-like. I will also put this in B tier. And this very crystal-looking one. I'm not quite a fan of this shape of kind of its torso, body, whatever. I'll put it in C tier. Then there's this one. I'll put it in B tier. After that, this one, I'll put it in C tier. And this one, which I will also put in C tier. This one's really cool where it's kind of like a tree that's holding up these rocks. This one's very, very unique. I like this a whole lot. This will go in S tier. And then there's this one, which I love the little eyes growing out of it. I'm going to put it in S tier. That one's, it's very cool. And then there's this one, which seems very mysterious and ancient. Honestly, I feel like this one would maybe make a good robotic portrait as well. If the lithoids had a robotic portrait, I would maybe choose this one. It would be nice if there was some portraits like this one that could count towards machines if you wanted to play Machine Empire with this. I'm going to put it in A tier. So that's all the lithoid portraits, and now we're going to move on to Necroid, and starting with this one. I feel like for Necroids, it's just not really the type of Empire style that I'm playing, like actual undead. And a thing I like about this one is that it doesn't necessarily
read to me as undead. I can get those vibes from it, but it also could just be an alien species. So I'm going to put this in B tier. This is another spacesuit portrait. I'm going to also put this in B tier. Then there's this portrait, which to me actually looks kind of like fungoid, really. I'm going to put it in A tier. Then there's this portrait, which kind of looks like it's either holographic or maybe like some kind of spirit energy or slime, or I'm not really sure what it is, but whatever that is, pretty cool. I'm gonna put this in A tier. And then there's this portrait, seems definitely cult-like. I'm gonna put it in B tier. This one going in C tier. And this one, I like that it barely has a face, like this very smooth shape to it. I guess maybe these are eyes or something. Gonna put it in A tier. Super cool. I like this one a whole lot. This one's going in S tier. I like this one a lot too. This one's gonna go in A tier. Then there's this portrait. It's just got a really good death cultist vibe. I will say that it does, like the skulls and bones all over it, definitely does lean it in a very specific direction, so it's a little less flexible than other portraits.
I'm going to put this in S tier. I just really like it.
Then there's this one. It's fine. C tier. Then there's this portrait, which looks very silly to me with the absolutely massive chin. It looks like this one particular meme. Just the face shape of it just makes me think of this. It's hard to take this one seriously. It's just so silly to me. I'm going to put it in D tier. In some ways, this really feels kind of xenomorph-like. I'm going to put it in B tier. Then there's this one. This one's horrifying. I'm going to put this one in C tier. And then for our final Necroid portrait, I'm going to put this one in A tier. And then moving on to aquatic, we have the biological version of this portrait. I think biological form is a little bit better than its synthetic form. I think I can understand, like, oh, this is a fin shape. That makes more sense. Kind of maybe a little bit eel-like or something. So there's more clarity here, but I'm still not super big fan of it. It'll go in D tier. Then there's this one, which has the biological evolution stages, kind of getting more of these fish scales on it. I'm going to put this in B tier. Then there's this portrait, which is another biological evolution one. I'm going to put this in A tier. And then there is this portrait, which is pretty much just a direct upgrade in every way to this portrait. It's got that bioluminescence. It has the kind of mushroom shape to it. It's just very cool. I like this one a whole lot. This one's going in S tier. Then there's this one, another one that I like a whole lot. It's interesting how it has this little orb in its head that glows. I'm going to put this in A tier. Then there's this one. I'm going to put it in B tier. And then this is going into C tier. This dolphin one basically has no chin. It looks a little silly to me. And again, it's just like a humanoid dolphin or whatever. I don't really like it. It's going in D tier. Then there's this portrait, which is another one of my absolute favorites. I like this slight transparency to these like fin type things. This one's going in S tier. Then there's this portrait, and in my Doomsday series where I customized all of the empires, I made this one as a themed hive mind that's deep coral, like imagining a massive network of like all of these nodes connecting up, being more neural network that encompasses entire planets under the oceans and stuff like that, which I thought was really cool. And then it's got these two little fun faces sticking off of it. This one's going in A tier. Then there's this one, which is going in C tier. This one kind of reminds me of the Zora from Zelda Breath of the Wild. It's going in B tier. Then there's this one. I really like how it floats. It looks super cool. This one's going in S tier. This portrait's really cool. I kind of like the pose and expression to them. They seem very schemy and opportunistic. I'm going to put this one in S tier as well. This is another really great one. Kind of a bit octopus-like, but it still feels very unique from an actual octopus. I like the kind of transparency on this bit. Overall, this one's also going in S tier. Then there's this one, very slimy and goopy. I'll put this one in B tier. I like how this one's bioluminescent. And I also like these kind of elbow spikes too, going in A tier. And then this one is going in C tier. Next up, we'll move on to Toxoid with this one. I like this one quite a bit. It has a really cool pose. Seems kind of like a black market dealer or something like that. Like that one meme, trade offer, the way that it's holding its hands. I'm gonna put this in A tier. And then there's this guy with this little tank filled with liquid. I like how it kind of wiggles around. That's fun. Little screen on the front is cool as well. I'm gonna put this in B tier. This one kind of reminds me of like the tech priests from Warhammer 40k somewhat. This one's going in S tier. Then there's this one, which the kind of hazy liquid, and then you can just see the bit of the face and the eyes, and that is really creepy looking. B tier. I like how this one has 3 heads. I imagine it just being like very talkative and like the 3 heads bickering with each other, which is fun. A tier. Then there's this one, kind of got these like baby-like proportions and then like floating around. Not really a fan of it. It's going in D tier. For some reason, whenever I see this one, I imagine them using swords or something like that. Going in A tier. Then there's this one, kind of slimy. I like these canisters that look like grenades on its belt or something like that. This one's going in B tier. Then there's this one, which I used for the Academic League of Avar. I do like how it kind of hovers around on these little hover plates, whatever thing. Though I do find the proportions, like the head is pretty big. Not really a big fan of that. I'm gonna put this one in C tier. This one's quite cool. I like how it has this armor that can open up and you can see like a little extra bit of the creature inside. I'm gonna put this one in S tier. That's just so cool. It's kind of like a biological mech suit. Then there's this one, got these kind of bulbous things on its back or whatever. Is that more of a backpack or is that actually like its biology that does that? I'm not quite sure. I'm gonna put it in B tier. Then there's this one, definitely seems like some kind of scavenger. I'm going to put this one in B tier. Then there's this one, which is gonna go in C tier. I like this one quite a lot. It's like in a tank and using drones to control things, which is really interesting. This one's going in A tier. And finally, for Toxoid portraits, there is this one. In some ways, the kind of like green skin, because this looks like it's its skin, and it looks very aggressive and angry. They kind of remind me of the super mutants, but they also have like these engine exhaust pipes sticking out of them, which is interesting. I'm gonna put it in C tier. So then let's move on to the psionic portraits, starting with this one, which looks really goofy to me. I don't like this one. I'm gonna put it in F tier. Then there's this one, which will just go in C tier. This one's interesting because it just doesn't even have a face at all. The psionics is kind of established to be like telepathy, so it kind of makes sense. You don't really need a mouth to speak. You use the psionics to see too. And this one's going in B tier. This one basically just seems like a better version of this one. This one will also go in B tier. Then there's the Mind Warden portrait, much like their ship set. I really like this portrait. It's quite neat. This one's going in A tier. Then there's this, which kind of makes me think of a beholder, just a giant floating eyeball. This one's going in A tier. Then there's this one, just a giant floating brain. This kind of giant floating thing, it just is a such better version of this one. Like this one just is a little bit silly to me. It's okay, it's going in C tier. This one's pose is quite similar to this one, kind of the cross-legged meditation stance while floating in the air. It's going in B tier. Then there's this portrait, weird little guy in a tank robot. I do like the idea of the tank robot mech suit type thing. I'm not necessarily super fan of the actual creature inside the tank. If this tank had the mech suit legs, that would be cooler. It'll go in C tier. Then there's this one. This one's also going in C tier. And then there's the psionic humans portrait, or at least very similar to humans. I'm going to put them in A tier. And this one will go in C tier. And with that, we can move on to the final category, thermophile. Starting with this one, which is going to go in C tier. This one's pretty cool. I like the kind of beetle-like shape. Very interesting. This one will go ahead and go in A tier. Then there's this portrait, which is going to go in C tier. And this one,
B tier.
this portrait I actually feel like would work well as like a robot portrait. Actually, it'd be cool if it had an evolution stage where it swaps out this little guy in the tank with just a full-on robot suit, because I would love this as a machine portrait. This would be such an awesome machine portrait. I just wish there was a version of it that could be a machine portrait. What it is still very cool. I love the shape here. I love these little claws and whatnot. Very, very cool. This one is going in S tier. Then there's this one going in A tier. Then there's this kind of dragon looking portrait. It'll go in C tier. I feel like there's so many other like reptilian portraits that kind of look very similar to this one. Not really a big fan of the clothing. It's gonna go in C tier. I really like this one. It kind of feels like it'd be a lithoid portrait. It will go into A tier. And then there's this portrait, which seems quite similar to this one in quite a few ways. It's very strange and alien, which I do like. This one will go in A tier. And finally, that leaves us with the two brand new ones that they added to the game. This one here I haven't actually gotten yet, but I'll still rank it based on what I've seen from the photos. I think it's really cool. I like how it has the mist. I guess it is a vapor according to the name. I feel like this one could also work as like a kind of robotic thing. Very cool. I'm going to put this one in A tier. And then finally we have this portrait, which doesn't have any variety to it, but for what it is very cool. This one actually also goes in A tier. So there we go. This is my tier list of all of the different portraits. That was way too many to go through. Quite a few of these were pretty hard to decide on where to place them exactly, so it kind of depends on my mood where I'd rank it. But either way, I'd be curious to know what you think. And with that, thank you so much for watching, and goodbye.